Alright, I want to show you how to rewrite um, any linear equation into the slope-intercept form, which looks like this, which means you've got y by itself on one side of the equation equals some number times x plus some other number. And the number times x actually turns out to be the slope of the line, and this constant over here represents the y-intercept of the line. So if you can get it into the slope-intercept form, it's really easy to identify the slope and the y-intercept of the line. That's kind of the value of rewriting it so that it's in slope-intercept form, and then it's really easy to graph from there. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to go through 3 examples here of starting with linear equations not in slope-intercept form, and I'll convert them into something that looks like this, and then you can do the 3 ones in brown. Those are for you. Also for you, I found this picture of a gibbon. I love gibbons right now. They're really awesome. So I don't know, adorable, right? So that has nothing to do with the slope-intercept form of an equation. It's just something awesome on the screen for you to enjoy. Because if you're not into slope-intercept form, you know, then you're not. So okay, so let's start with this one. So these 2 guys are actually in what's called the standard form. Um, we've got something times x plus something times y equals some constant. Okay, but so and then this one is in the point slope form, and you can start with an equation in any form. Not even any of those normal forms. It could be just some gobbledygook, and you can turn it into slope-intercept as long as it's a linear equation. But I'll show you how to. A lot of times you'll get an equation in standard form or point slope. So I'll just show you how to start with those and get to slope-intercept. So we want y by itself on one side and everything else on the other side. Um, so let's just do that. So we want y by itself. So first thing we need to do is get this 3x out of there. Let's move that 3x. So we're going to subtract 3x from both sides, and effectively what that'll do is move this 3x over to the other side. So now we've got 2y equals, now there's 10 before, but then we're subtracting that 3x. So 10 minus 3x. That looks like a 7. Sorry. Now, if it were me, I'd probably save a step and just I would have written that as 2y equals negative 3x plus 10. Just swapping the order of these two, which you're totally it's fair. You can swap the order of anything that's added. So you can, if you look at this minus 3x as plus negative 3x, then you're allowed to swap the order of these two. Um, so if you do it like that, actually, it's looking more like this, where the x is on the left here and there's some other numbers on the right. Yeah. Okay. So we're pretty close, but y is being multiplied by 2, and in the slope-intercept form, y is not multiplied by anything. So let's divide by 2. Now we got to divide the whole other side of the equation by 2 if we're going to divide. So we're dividing this side of the equation by 2. Therefore, we have to divide the whole other side of the equation by 2. So what do we get? We get y. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 times y is y. So this becomes y. Now, so we'll do negative 3x divided by 2. Negative 3x divided by 2. Plus, now 10 divided by 2 is 5. Okay? So, and then just to kind of rewrite this slightly, I'm going to write it like negative 3 halves x like that. Plus 5. Now it's in the slope-intercept form, so we know that the slope is negative 3 over 2. That's the change in y is negative 3, so down 3. The run or the change in x is 2, so it'd be some kind of negative slope like that. The y-intercept is 5, so this thing would cross, at y equals 5, etc., etc. So there's the slope-intercept form of that guy. These equations mean the same thing. They're just expressed in different forms. So let's try that with this guy here. So again, first thing we want to do, or kind of our basic goal, is to get y by itself on one side of the equation. So anything that's not y, later, got to move. So let's subtract that 5x. let's do a different. Oh man, struggle. Minus 5x. Subtract that from both sides. Now I'm going to do what I said I would do before. So this side, just without the 5x there, it just becomes negative 7y. Um, Now, instead of saying 35 minus 5x, I'm going to call this minus 5x plus 35, just to save a step. And so we want to have x here and then the other stuff here, just for just because. All right, now last step is we need to get y by itself. So y is being multiplied by negative 7, so I got to divide that side of the equation by negative 7, and I need to divide that side of the equation by negative 7. So that leaves me with y on the left side. Now, negative 5x divided by negative 7, the negatives cancel out, so that would be 5x divided by 7, or I'm going to save a step and just call it 5/7 x. That means 5/7 x means 5/7 times x over 1. So you could rewrite that as 5 times x over 7, which is what I had. But I just rewrote it like this, so it's obvious what the slope is. Okay, so y equals 5/7 x. Okay, now I'm dividing 35 by negative 7 now. So there's only one negative there, so the result is going to be negative. And 35 divided by 7 is 5, so this would be 35 divided by negative 7 is negative 5, so minus 5. Or if you want to be really OCD about it, you could call that plus negative 5. So it literally follows this to the t. So it's it's not minus b, it's plus b. So you could call this plus negative 5. All right, so let's try one more. Now this is in the point slope form. But yeah, so we want to get y by itself. So y minus 10. So we don't want that minus 10 to be over there. So we're removing that 10. So to undo the negative 10, we're going to add 10 to both sides. So we've got y equals 5 times x minus 8 plus 10. Now we need to distribute that 5. There's nothing about parentheses or anything like that in here. So if we distribute that 5, we'll get rid of those parentheses. So I'm going to distribute that. So it'll be 5 times x plus 5 times negative 8. So let's do that. So we've got y equals 5x, so 5 times x, plus 5 times negative 8 would be negative 40. And then we've got our plus 10 still over here. So we can combine these like terms. So y equals 5x, no, negative 40 plus 10 would be negative 30. Oh, and let's make that a plus. So plus negative 30. So y equals 5x plus negative 30. Slope would be 5. Y-intercept would be negative 30. So why don't you try these three, converting those into the slope-intercept form. Good luck. YouTube Gibbons, they're awesome.